What's going on, guys, and welcome back. Hope you're having a good one. The Surfer has been an absolute fire deck for the last couple of metas, and today we're going to show you the best possible Surfer decks that you can play right now to climb some ranks and equip you with the knowledge you need to make your very own infinite Surfer deck. From turn-by-turn interactions to the best and worst 3-cost cards, to finally the best meta decks out there on the ladder in terms of both win rate and average cubes. Now, to perfect your Silver Surfer gameplay, I've learned that it starts with the 3-cost cards. Now, arguably, 3-cost is the most versatile and impactful cost in Marvel Snap. Whether it's a tech card or it's there to control, they often share synergy between one another, and combine this with the Surfer Burst, and you can start to see the deck's true potential. Now, you're going to need a very good understanding of the 3-cost cards in your deck and the purpose that they serve. Like I said, there's a lot of synergy between them, and you don't want to try to do too much. You don't want a Patriot deck that also has discard going for it, right? And you don't want a control deck that is doing Patriot unless you have Brood that can connect the two of those together. So we're going to go through, rank them all, best to worst. Let's start with the best of the best. So let's go ahead and look at the top of the best of the best 3-cost cards to throw into your Surfer decks. Now, this first page is the optimal choices. These are all great across a variety of decks, and the first two are definitely the strongest in both Storm and Brood. Now, probably the best thing about Storm is she doesn't give away a Surfer deck, right? She's such a commonly used card across Cerebro, really any deck, so you don't have to worry about that. But with the other best card being Brood, this is where you strictly, typically only see him in the Surfer decks, and so we need to be more careful with him. It's his biggest con, but his biggest pro is he's going to give you a mass amount of power. Now, lastly, for both of these, they both offer something different to help you across locations. Storm can obviously flood anything that isn't advantageous for you, and Brood is a great way to get into Altar of Death and Death's Domain and some hard-to-reach locations. Now, Polaris, being a 3-5 with virtually no con, is obviously one of the best 3-cost cards to play, being able to help you against Galactus decks and having a nice baseline of power so that when you do Silver Surfer at least once, you're looking at a 3-7. And speaking of 3-7s, obviously Maximus is way up here for that exact reason. Both of these are your high single-lane power cards that offer just tremendous power potential when you add on the Surfer Burst, which brings us to Killmonger, another very high kind of power curve card. And really, it's because if you play Killmonger and you kill even one 1-cost card, he's going to have the same value there on the board. Really great to pair him up with Nova. Great to have him on turn 6 and play alongside the Surfer. Just a solid card overall. Cosmo is our tech option in Surfer decks. There are other ones out there, but he definitely reigns supreme to counter the majority of the decks out there. Although, do be careful. Outside of Maximus, he does counter a lot of the other Surfer cards. Again, Storm, Brood, Surfer, these all are on reveal effects, so do keep that in mind. Juggernaut is another just fantastic plug-and-play option. Obviously, following up Storm is where you're going to get the most out of him, but he's also great as a cheap arrow. You can go and play him on turn 6, turn 5. If you do pair this deck up with a Daredevil or Professor X, he's fantastic as you know exactly which lane Juggernaut is going to send their cards to. And then that leads us to the Patriot optimal cards, and this is kind of an all or nothing, which is why I put them all together. If you decide to play a Patriot Surfer deck, you pretty much want to focus on just that, right? The cards around Silver Surfer are either going to aid the Patriot or they're going to go and help the Silver Surfer. And in this case, it kind of does both, right? So you have Patriot in the deck. You can go with Mystique as long as you have a couple of other ongoing cards. And then we have like Debris, which is just incredible for Surfer decks that can't play too many cards. Those rocks can really help. Obviously, Cyclops is massive value in a Surfer deck that you can definitely get behind. And so there's a lot of moving pieces with the Patriot, and the best part of it is that Brood has his Broodlings that are going to be able to have the Patriot bonus, and so once you start combining it all, you notice a lot of the top cards have Patriot and Silver Surfer synergy. Now, as for the rest of the 3-cost cards, this is going to be my optimal order in which I would put them in your deck. This isn't in general a tier list of 3-cost cards, but more so, which ones do I like the most with Surfer and the cards that go along with Silver Surfer? Mr. Fantastic is a priority machine. Wave is not played near enough in Surfer decks. She's played virtually in every other deck, so it definitely makes sense in a Surfer deck to give you advantage on turn 6, or simply just to get Sarah on the board on turn 4 is a huge advantage for the way you play your deck. Now, Ironheart is also slept on a little bit in my opinion as a great Silver Surfer card, especially in the deck we'll be playing today. Rogue can be a decent counter option with the Devil Dinosaurs and the Darkhawks out in the wild at the moment. Definitely not bad as far as a tech card goes. Now that brings us to both Gambit and Thor. There are times where I think both of these are just the perfect card to go into a deck, and then other times, not so much, right? Gambit can discard your Surfer, and that's terrible, but he's great on turn 6, whereas Thor can get up there in power, but you are sacrificing some of your draw to get his hammer. Now with Doctor Strange and Vulture, it's a bit of a weird one because I feel like they're close, but it doesn't always make sense in a Surfer deck. Vulture is a free 3/8 most of the time. Like, he's not that hard to get up into his value power numbers, but you're going to need to throw in maybe Iron Fist as that 1-cost drop into the deck as well. But you can definitely make it work, and they're not terrible, but I would probably lean more towards Patriot. Groot is played in a lot of Surfer decks. He's obviously good to follow up with Storm, and you can play him on the last couple of turns for some good consistent power. But actually, Captain America. I know Captain America, you never play him, but he's actually not bad in Silver Surfer decks. If you pair him up with something like Brood and you create that mini synergy, now you have a card with 3/6 value, and it's really efficient. Now, if you're newer into Pool 3, I think Swordmaster actually isn't that bad of a card. Clearly, you don't want to play him too early, but he's just good power if you want to play him on turn 5 or 6. Negasonic is fantastic paired with Daredevil, one of my favorites to drop a Professor X on, and then you can boost up the Negasonic to help that lane if you didn't secure the win the first time. Kingpin is a kind of all or nothing. And guys, I love my Kingpin, but he's kind of wacky and sometimes just doesn't always fit. He can work against you. But when you do have him placed after Storm, man, that has been one of my favorite decks to play him in. Listen, I probably was the biggest Kingpin fan out there, but I will just be realistic that there's probably more dependable options that you can play. Now, Shadow King is the newest 3-cost card, and I saw a lot of people and myself try to put him into a Silver Surfer deck. And guys, I'm going to be honest, after playing loads of Surfer, he's just not it. You want to play him late, but the problem with that is you're going to hurt your own cards that you probably boosted up via Surfer or Ironheart or a multitude of other options. Now, outside those 3-cost cards, when it comes to building your Surfer deck, about 6 to even 8 of those are going to be 3-cost cards, and the other cards will be the complement pieces, right? So Sarah is your usual #1 hit to throw into a Silver Surfer deck because the discount bonus is rather large for 3 costs. Going to 2 costs, you can play multiple of them on turn 6. So this is usually just always a good idea. The value is strictly there. A lot of people go back and forth on these 2 cats between Wong and Absorbing Man. Do they belong in Surfer decks? It depends, and in my experience, if you're running an on-reveal one or more of a surprise cheeky option, I think yes, no question. Absorbing Man is fantastic to follow up not only Silver Surfer, but Storm, Brood, a lot of the on-reveal cards. And then Wong, obviously, is probably a step down unless you build it, the deck ready for Wong. But he's going to at least give you some surprise with either Silver Surfer or whatever that might be. All right, let's go ahead and kick off the simple yet complex turn-by-turn for Silver Surfer. Now, whether you use a deck that we showed today or you created your own Surfer deck, this should help for the majority of the decks that you'll be using. I'm going to try my best to have this be an all-encompassing turn-by-turn guide. Now, in turn 1, you're not going to have many 1-cost cards in your Surfer decks. At most, you might have Nova for a Killmonger package, and if you do, this could be the time to play him depending on your hand and locations. Other than that, if you happen to have a 1-cost card, feel free to play it on this turn. Now, going into turn 2, you definitely will have either 1 or multiple 2-cost cards in your Surfer decks. Typically, the most common 2-cost cards here are going to be Daredevil, Goose, Domino, Zabu, and Lizard. You can play all of these safely this turn. I would say Goose, you might want to put some thought into to what the future goal is with the hand that you have. Now, going into turn 3, I like to call this the setup turn. We have a lot of different moving pieces, and I'm going to focus on some of the decks today, but this can apply to any Surfer deck. Now, if you do have Sarah in hand, this is going to be the no-brainer Wave on turn 3 play. We want to get Sarah out as quickly as possible, and Wave is also a 3-cost card, so some great synergy there to set us up for success for the last couple of turns. Now, Storm would be the most obvious card that the majority of you would want to play. If you don't have Wave and Sarah, go ahead and storm off a location that gives you the favor. Maybe you have Lizard on a location, or maybe it's a location that doesn't give Surfer any help, so you can go ahead and close that down early. Now, if you can or don't want to play Storm here, I would say this is going to be your focus on some other 3-cost card that sets you up for success for the later turns. That means playing Brood is a great choice here. Vulture, you can play Mr. Fantastic. Thor is always great on turn 3. Polaris or Patriot options are all good, like Cyclops or the Patriot himself. Anything that's going to set us up for turn 4 and onward. Now on turn 4, you obviously want to play Sarah if you just played Wave. However, if you did not play Wave, you're going to go and play most likely Brood into the Storm lane that you just set up. If you don't have Brood, you can always Juggernaut that Storm lane as well. Obviously, just closing off that lane with 2 3-cost cards is usually an absolute surefire win. You can also do Group behind Storm, or go ahead and just play your next combo piece, right? That means Absorbing Man to Brood if you played him last turn. If you played Vulture, you can do Doctor Strange. If you have the Patriot, this is where Mystique would come out. So there's a lot of options here, but I would say Brood and following up the Storm lane is typically what you want to try to do. Now let's move on to one of the most important turns in all of the game, that is turn 5, right? We've set ourselves up for success. We had a good turn 4. On turn 5, you're going to play Sarah if you have not already, but if you have played Sarah, this is obviously going to open up your options. Now with the reveal style Surfer deck that I like playing, I typically play Surfer and Absorbing Man on this turn so that I can Odin them later if I do have them in the hand. If you don't have those options, you can play Wong if you do have them in the deck as well to set up for the Giant Explosive turn 6. And then if you're not playing those, that's where you want to do a combo play, right? Something that complements what you did on turn 3 and 4. And you can play Goose on top of that to set up some control against the opponent if they're trying to play big cost cards. Now, if you did do Daredevil as well, this is your Daredevil turn. You can use a Disrupt card to react to what they're trying to do. Whether that's Juggernaut, Professor X, or Negasonic even are all great options to work in tandem with Surfer decks. And that takes us to turn 6. Now, turn 6 is great. Now, the first note is turn 6 is just always better with priority. Turn 5 really gives away what you're trying to do. So if you do have priority going into turn 6, you can rest easy knowing that they can't Cosmo your huge turn of Silver Surfer and Wong or whatever that might be. If you played Sarah, you get 3 different 3-cost cards. Typically, you can do explosive single lane plays like Maximus, Polaris, and Silver Surfer. You can do Brood followed by Wolfsbane, then Silver Surfer. You can do Brood, Killmonger, Surfer. There's a lot of different components that you can do depending on the hand that you have. What I like to do typically is if I did set up all of my other pieces and I did play Surfer early, this is where I Odin on top of my on reveal lane that I've been setting up. So if that's Ironheart, whatever that might be, this is where my Odin is going to come into play. However, I'll say also for you Zabu fans, if you did get Zabu on the board, this is where you're going to go and play an explosive finish of playing Wong, Surfer, and Absorbing Man all on top of each other to get even a bigger explosive turn. Now, lastly, if you don't have this Silver Surfer, this is where you can kind of evaluate if you can even get the win. You probably want to retreat here if you don't have any other option, but your opponent is always going to assume you have Silver Surfer, which is kind of fun and can lead to a lot of retreats, so always make sure you are using the retreat later button. So again, it's going to really depend on the deck you're playing, but those are the main case scenarios that you're going to find yourself into. Now let's go ahead and talk about the decks for a second, because I'll be honest, it's the best part about Silver Surfer. There isn't one true meta deck, and you can't go wrong in a lot of the different archetypes that Silver Surfer can slot into. Now, currently, the best deck out there in terms of win rate and average cubes is going to be this Killmonger Nova deck that takes advantage of the top tier 3-cost drops combined with the Surfer and the Nova huge burst of power. It's a pretty consistent deck, but it depends what kind of player you are, right? If you want even more consistency, I think the Patriot deck is vastly underplayed at the moment. Having things like Debris, Cyclops, and the Broodlings to your disposal. That also teams up with the Patriot, so it's not a combo-reliant win condition. You can use Absorbing Man to double up the Broods. You can use it to go and get another Surfer Pass, or even get multiple Rock Debris, which is debilitating to most decks out there. Or maybe you're like me and you like to get a little greedy, and you want even more burst in your deck. That is my on-reveal deck that I created for this video, and the reason for this video, and that is just taking advantage of the powerful on-reveal 3-cost drops, and then dropping Surfer early and surprising opponents with an Odin finish or a huge bomb of Wong and Surfer burst at the end. Or simply my other favorite being the control style. That's where you have Daredevil, Negasonic, Professor X. A lot of great ways to combine Juggernaut and Storm with other control pieces, and it might be the best in my opinion, although it's a little harder to play. So it does depend what you enjoy. If you want to do move and have Doctor Strange and combine that with the archetype, feel free to do it. Today, I'll be playing the on-reveal deck as well as the top-end deck with Nova and Killmonger in my game, so you can see exactly how to pilot those decks. So sit back, relax. Let's hop in. Alrighty, so here we go. Opening hand with the more meta version of the deck. Sarah, Goose, Scorpion, Killmonger. Beautiful curve hand for as far as Surfer goes. We have Crimson Cosmos. Definitely a bad location for Surfer decks. We're going to have to keep that in mind. All right, so we have a couple things. We can play Goose to really limit the locations, but I want to see what the locations are first. So we're going to go ahead and play Scorpion as our first card, and we're going to play it on Warrior Falls. Go ahead and get that negative bonus out now. It's even better with Warrior Falls because of power coming into play. Awesome location here. This is a no-brainer Goose location, right? Definitely going to do that. We don't have to do it quite yet. We're going to just simply play Storm on the left side for now.
Wind, aid my hand.
Oh my god. Chaos. Complete chaos. All right, well, that definitely, that affects our game plan a little bit. Not too much, but it definitely is annoying, I guess, right? He has 6 cards in hand, so Maximus is always should be saved if you have Sarah in hand for the last turn of the game. No reason to play it early. We're going to Goose now, and we are also going to play Nova. I think I'll play Nova more so on this lane rather than our +5 location. All right, so it looks like this guy's a pretty kind of low-cost deck anyway. Most likely, he's going to be stacking on the 2 costs. And again, what is probably Sarah control, which there's a lot of that out there at the moment. Let's go and play Sarah, and we're going to use Sarah middle lane, right? We might as well make this guy really work to get priority, which it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do. And here we go, guys. We have endless potential here to win. I don't know how we would lose this. We are going to Juggernaut, which is going to just completely goodbye to his Angela side. And then we can simply play Maximus, followed by Killmonger. And this might be the easiest win we've ever gotten, even without Silver Surfer. I don't see where he could probably beat us here. We have a lot of power. We're going to move all the cards. Hopefully they go to the middle. Anything that goes in the middle is a win for us. And look at that. Look at this value out of Juggernaut. This is why he's such a ridiculous card, in my opinion. Oh, yeah. And I forgot that Fist Tower exists as well. Yep, so that armor's not going to cut it. Lizard. Sentinel. All right, so really easy slap against the Sarah control deck. Juggernaut, man. Can't say enough good things. You don't have to have Surfer with this deck for it to be pretty dependable, which is kind of where I started with saying it's a consistent deck. All right, let's continue to play the meta Surfer deck, and we have Juggernaut, Maximus, Sarah, and Goose. Nothing we can do on turn 1. But again, with this controlled location, it gives us a little bit of knowledge on what our game plan is. We have another +5 location. That's fantastic. Anytime you see the hood, you are going to want to save your Killmonger. Wait for them to play that demon, right? And then you can go to town. Love Goose on the +5 here because it just makes it difficult for him to play the cards that he wants to play. And we have Daredevil. And our last location is going to be Quantum Tunnel, which is very crazy for the deck we're playing. I do think Brood is going to be super clutch here. I think Brood would also be great at the +5. But simply put, we get to have Broodlings, put them back into the deck to get more of them, and then have something else come out, in this case, Mr. Fantastic, which doesn't serve much use to us, guys, in the +5 location. And there we go. We got Brood back, so look at that. Now, sadly, we want Killmonger. If we can get Killmonger, we will be winning that lane. And let's look into anything else we want to try to do on this turn. I think we're going to Brood left side. We then have Sarah to go and do anything else we need to before our big Silver Surfer play. Okay, well, a lot of moving pieces here. Viper kicks something over. We're going to snap now. It kind of is obviously risky to snap because he can see what we're doing, but nevertheless, I think this is the play. Juggernaut, we will definitely use next turn. It doesn't really matter what cards he has, right? I don't think it matters what cards he has. We can just play Juggernaut. We can just play Surfer. There's a massive amount of things we can play on this turn. So we are simply going to just play our one card in Maximus. It's fine. And then probably just Juggernaut by itself. Or if we get Killmonger, we can play that. Or if we need Silver Surfer, we can play that. So we have a lot of ways to win this. So we didn't get the Killmonger, which is a bummer. That means we're going to have to simply just play Juggernaut and then Silver Surfer. That is going to win us the right side. Definitely going to win us the middle once we kick out whatever he's going to play. And then more importantly, he won't have 4 cards there. And so this will be the easiest win we've ever had. Very easy. And another game where Juggernaut was the deciding card, right? Push that on over there. And so, as you guys can see, we had 2 ways to win this one, right? We could have had the Killmonger that would get rid of the demon. Or simply put, we do that as a photo finish. So, no Sarah that time. Good control with Goose. Very obvious, again, how to play this version of the deck. All right, so this will probably be our last meta Surfer game here. Turn 2, we have Scorpion and Nova. Gonna play always Scorpion as fast as we can. And I like it on Hala because we can storm it if we lost. All right, good stuff. We have Danger Room, and we also have Mirror Dimension. I think we are going to Storm, and I like the idea of storming into Mirror Dimension. He happened to play on the location that we didn't want to, but that's all right. We can brood into that lane. And with getting the Silver Surfer, guys, this is you can chop this one up to a W. I think we're going to play Nova on the left side. If he does outbeat our Hala, then that's fine. And if not, that's also okay. We want him to commit to flooding as much as possible because we know we'll win that lane. And he doesn't. So that is interesting. Oof. Perfect play by that guy. I can't believe that. All right, well, there goes my Nova value. Oh, my God. And we got the Killmonger. Kill me. Kill me now. I think I'm going to roll the dice. I think we're going to roll the dice because we can still win with the right card draw if we get Juggernaut, let's say. All right, so where is he playing the Darkhawk is the game, right? He's going to play Darkhawk left side. And it does look like our Sarah made it, so that's extra great. We can get rid of the Korg, which is nice. And we have a really big play here, right, guys? So we're going to go Killmonger, Maximus, Silver Surfer. Probably easy dubs. We could put one of those on the left side. I think that's where he's going to be playing his Darkhawk. Even if he doesn't, what do we have? We have 4 cards in our deck. So Darkhawk doesn't really scare me. It's games like these where, I don't know, I snap. Like where they think they're doing good, but we think we're doing better. It's a 1 cube difference. If he leaves, he leaves. If he doesn't, it's 4 cubes. I just don't think he's going to win this game, right? He'll do the obvious play. Most likely, like 90% of the time, the most obvious play is the one they're going to take. And look at that, guys. Look at that. We got some bonus cubes. He tried to Cosmo us as well. As long as all of these cards don't die. Well, look at that. So sometimes, not all the time, you can snap on turn 6 if there's like nothing to lose or if they have like overconfidence and it looks like you're losing. It's something worth considering. Ooh, Smile Pizza is not a bot. Okay, well, color me happy because Kamar Taj is going to be definitely where we're going to be using and abusing the Silver Surfer deck. With Odin, this is pretty much a guaranteed win. I don't like throwing that out there all that much, but with just the cards that we have, I don't know, guys. I don't see a world where we can lose this. We're probably just going to play Storm, maybe Silver Surfer, turn 4, turn 5, follow that up with double pass Odins. If we get Brood, you can even call it a bigger Good Night, Sweet Chariot. I like the Titan a lot. I think it's going to help him more than myself. So it might be advantageous to close that lane down now. Because we have Sarah in the deck, we're going to go ahead and get rid of Titan now. Smile Pizza was kind enough to give us a green goblin that we can boost up. We can get him probably just past that. We'll get him at like 2 to 4 power, which is kind of hilarious. This is even more chaos. And this is where things really start to get a little bit out of control. So if we throw down Wong now, that is option 1. We can go with Goose now. This is a tough one. Obviously, Wong would be nice to play now, but we're going to save him. This is fine as long as it's not, like, the best power. Okay, there goes Wave. We're okay with that. We're going to block any big cards from being on Start Tower, which means he's going to play all of his big cards on Kamartaj. And we can certainly live with that. And we're going to play our Sarah. And then we can finish with Wong, Wolfsbane, and Silver Surfer. This is going to be an absolute nut house of a finish here. We're going to be pumping out some massive power on Kamartaj. If he doesn't Cosmo left side, good night, Sweet Prince. It's a bold move, Cotton. He's playing all of his stones now.
All systems go.
The only thing I can fathom is he's going to play Thanos left side and feel on top of the world. Feels like there's no way he can lose. Like, the only world, universe, multiverse that makes sense that we lose is if he plays Cosmo, and I don't think he's going to. So we're going to play Wong, followed by Ironheart, followed by Silver Surfer. We could do Wolfsbane, too. I just think the Ironheart's extra, LOL. Wolfsbane is crazy to stack up that much, but this will be the finish. This is going to be like 9 passes. Yeah, this is just going to be pure entertainment with Smiley Pizza. And if he retreats, then he saved himself 4 cubes. If he plays it through, he learned a valuable lesson. So either way, it's a win in my book. We've given out 0 clues that we're a Surfer deck. If you look at what we have Storm, Goose, Zabu, Sarah. There's no way in hell he's expecting this left side. I was wrong. Don't be Cosmo. Well, now he can't play Cosmo. Oh, Reality Stone, that's annoying. Reality Stone is annoying. It hurts our potential. But I don't think we lose. It's going to depend where Ironheart decides to bless us. Okay, well, I don't exactly know what's happening at this point. Okay. What you got for us, Ironheart? There you go. Great stuff. One more pass around the sun, will you? Oh my god. Well, that's awesome. It wasn't quite the flashy finish that we wanted. But it was pretty sick. What a deck. What an on-reveal combo here. Okay, so next game in, we have Asteroid M, and probably, I don't know if it's the worst location. It's not a bad location for Surfer, but it's not good. Because everything we play will move over there. We just have to keep that in mind. A couple ways we can take advantage of that. You can play Brood in the middle, and it only pulls Brood. Or we can just fill that up early with our Brood. As you can see, guys, we're still kind of getting screwed by Curve. It's something you just have to get used to in a Surfer deck. That, you know, a lot of your plays are going to happen later rather than early. Which I think is a pro, because then you don't give away what you're doing. All right, so we have Wakanda. You guys ready for this? This is going to blow you. This is going to be controversial, I think. But we're going to play Brood left side, and we're going to play Widow's Bite left side. We're going to fill out this lane now. And I think we made the right decision. Because the way the rest of our turns are going to go after turn 4 is, we don't need to be playing in that lane, and we certainly don't need any of our cards getting zapped over to said lane. So, yeah. Let's go to play Sarah now. That's a no-brainer. It makes sense for us to be playing Sarah right side rather than anywhere else. And then we will set up all of our combo wombos here to just ruin this guy's day. So he's going to Sarah as well. Nice stuff. Probably, again, not probably. This is a Darkhawk deck. Just depends where he's playing. He probably has Shang-Chi too. And so I'm going to give him the advantage on this lane. If he does decide to Cosmo right side, you know, that's going to be a bit of an issue. But I don't think we're going to struggle too much. If we do Zabu, our Wong goes down and we can do our Wombo combo. That is certainly an option. What I'm thinking we do... Let's go and do it. If he plays Cosmo, we lose. But if not, I think we win. But again, you can't expect the Cosmos all the time. Number 1, Asteroid was protecting us. And number 2, He is going to get a pretty big advantage here. We're going to see some crazy stuff come from him. We want to keep initiative. That's all we want from this. Yeah, we definitely kept initiative. That's for sure. Cool. All right, so it's like a flood deck. Very interesting. We have Odin here, which is the obvious play. We can just play Odin right side. That's going to trigger Silver Surfer a billion times, and it should be the dubs. If he somehow is smart enough, he will play a Cosmo or a Shang-Chi left side, and he would win in that case scenario. Actually, if he just plays right side heavy, he's going to win. Because the only thing we're boosting up here is actually our Broodlings. That's the only thing that really helps out. So it might be more advantageous to go with Wolfsbane. Would it be smarter to do Wolfsbane and then something like this? I think he will abandon left side. I don't know. Listen, looking at this, I probably should play Wolfsbane. If it's 20, we'll kick ourselves. I think this is a good learning lesson, though. I think we picked correctly. He went all in on the left lane. We got, I would say, somewhat... that could have gone either way if he decided to play right lane. But unless he played Shang-Chi, this was a free win for us. Look at how many times. That's 42? 42. This guy can play Iron Man and Mystique, and we're still good here. Where's the Darkhawk? What lane is he in? If Darkhawk's right lane, he's looking okay. Or Ronin, for that matter. But he's playing too many cards, so we're good to go. What is this last card? Maximus? Woo! So... he actually didn't even have the cards to take that. We played pretty passively with assuming he would Shang-Chi the Monster Island, and we still came out A-okay on that. Again, if he would have put two more of these cards right side, I guess he would have won that. Alrighty, guys. So, opening hand. We obviously can't play any one-cost cards, so we move on to turn 2. We do have Goose to play, and typically you don't want to play Goose all the time on turn 2 unless you have like a solidified game plan. And at the moment, I don't know if we do. I do think that playing Goose here could be advantageous because, you know, Dark Dimension is Dark Dimension. He does have Thanos, which does mean he can lockjaw into the stones, and that gives him a bit of an advantage. We're going to go into Goose now. We're going to Goose middle, and most likely Storm right side. Well, never mind. He's going to Plunder Castle, which kind of screws him over. I only have Odin as my 6 cost. I'm going to guess he has more 6 cost than I do. So we're in somewhat of a, one would call a pickle. We can start to set up, though, our win conditions. We can go Brood here as one option, and then we can do Silver Surfer on turn 4. On turn 5, we can do Absorbing Man, and then turn 6, we can do, like, Odin for, like, a double boost to everybody. You know, like, it's starting to set up our success route. Storm is certainly a play that we could do this turn to put a bit more pressure on him. I think we're going to go with the Brood. We're going to go with the early Brood, which might surprise him, but with Washington, D.C., it's just too good of an advantage for us. Nice. So, Time Stone's out. He could leech us here. Now's a good time to probably get our Silver Surfer down. And we're definitely going to do that. And at this point, I think we're good to go, guys. We also have Sarah to our disposal as well. We're going to go with Absorbing Man on 4. Kind of plan this out all the way back on turn 3, right? Like, we know what we wanted to do. And then we have our last turn. So, we could do Odin on this if we had him, and that would have been a really good play. Obviously, we don't. And so, I would say something like this is going to be a little bit better for us. Storm Wave Sarah doesn't make all that much sense. Brood is somewhat of a giveaway to what we're going to do. But I think he has to at least respect that we could play into Plunder Castle. If these are Cosmos, we lose. Other than that, I think we win. And we might just get him to retreat here. But because he has Plundered Castle, I am going to snap to put a little bit of pressure. Look at this combo, man. What a thing of beauty. So we didn't get everything we wanted there. Because this is going to be tough. Oh, we tied. Oh, we won. Oh, my God. Okay, so the Iron Heart did not hit any of our own cards. That hurt a little bit on the left side. I think Absorber Man got 1 boost there. In reality, probably would have been better to play these 2 and then these 2. But it worked out, right? We had our game plan from the get-go. And if we had Odin, we would have been able to do double Surfer, which obviously would have led to the win as well. So really good stuff. Planned ahead of time, and there's the result. So there you go, guys. Hopefully you learned how to play Silver Surfer, and this encourages you to try it out on the ladder yourself. If you have any questions on how to run or maybe a deck that you have come up with, drop it down below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you come back here time and time again, you can help out, support the channel a ton by subscribing down below. Until the next one, guys, good luck on the ladder. Have a good one. Have a great one. Happy snapping.